This is TWiT.
This is according to a well-known website called IFL Science.
There was that. But at least it had a quote in it.
Google Images was created because of J-Lo. This was her plunging neckline dress from
the Oscars.
No, it's the Grammys. See that Grammy?
The Grammys, I'm sorry. What year was it?
2000.
2000.
42nd Grammy Awards. A low neckline dress drew a baffling amount of coverage around the world. She said, it didn't seem that out there to me. It was a good-looking dress. I had no idea it was going to be such a big deal. But it didn't just impact regular media, according to IFL Science. It had a lasting effect on Google's search engine because if you think about it,
people wanted to just search for the dress.
They searched the dress.
And Google didn't know how to look for dresses.
This is a quote.
So it had to understand the images.
From Eric Schmidt. He said this in 2015. Mm-hmm. People wanted more than just text. This first became apparent after the 2000 Grammys, where J-Lo wore a green dress that caught the world's attention. At the time, it was the most popular search query we had ever seen, but we had no surefire way of getting users exactly what they wanted, which was, of course, a picture of J-Lo in that dress. Google image search was born. Well, if Eric Schmidt said it, then it must be true.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. They even talk about it. They referenced it recently in one of their I/O presentations.
Oh,
probably. Yeah, one of the.
It's kind of a cool story.
It is a cool story.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I put it in there.
Yeah,
I'm glad you noticed it.
So this Google engineer explains this this is in GQ, a story from a couple of years ago by Rachel Tastian. She wore this actually in Grammys in 2000 and again in 2020 with Donatella Versace at the Women's Wear collection. And she actually, in this article, in the GQ article, they actually quote an engineer, Kathy Edwards, director of engineering and product for Google Images. She says, it wasn't overnight, but it was definitely the impetus. It's completely true, she said in a Google Hangout on Friday, but it's also not the case that this happened and the next day we said, we should build an image search engine. At that point, she said the company was only 2 years old. 2000, it was only 2 years old. Wow.
What?
With a very small number of employees, and everyone at the time was, of course we need to build an image search engine, but they weren't sure how much priority to give it. When the Lopez dress, I see. This was when it was only 2, not in 2000, but before then.
Okay, thank you.
When the Lopez dress, that makes more sense. Because when did Google start? 90? I don't remember.
98.
So it was 2 years old. When the Lopez dress moment happened in February 2000, quote, it became so clear that this was important, but they didn't have anyone to do it, end quote. So Google hired that summer a recent college graduate, Weikon Ju, as an engineer, partnered him with Susan Wojcicki, current CEO of CEO. She was then a product manager.
I'll be.
And they worked together to build it. So Susan Wojcicki was one of 2 people developed image search and single-handedly almost launched it in July 2001. Now, actually, that's of more interest to me than the fact that it was J-Lo's dress, that it was Susan Wojcicki.
Right.
He was one of the 2
yeah.
developers.
Because we're geeks. Yeah, we care about that.
And she's now
I also care about
executive.
her dress.
She's CEO.
You care about the dress?
It's
a nice dress.
It's a historical dress.
Actually,
is it common for executives to have started out as part of a development team? Is that fairly common? I mean, I know we have Zuckerberg, but is it for all of these big tech companies?
The Wojcicki family is kind of interesting because her sister, of course, is 23 and me.
Yes. And who was married to
Schmidt?
No.
Larry.
Sergey. Larry. Which one?
Oh, and there's
Larry,
3 sisters.
Uma, Oprah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's 3 sisters. The other sister.
Well, and their mother is quite amazing too. I know her. She's an educator at Palo Alto High.
Esther. Yeah.
Esther. She's wonderful.
Yeah, she's quite well known as well. In fact, it was in their garage.
That
right. Susan and Janet first got started. They were high school students in Palo Alto. It's actually kind of an interesting story, isn't it? So her sister, is it Janet? Sergey Brin Anne Wojcicki was married to Sergey, and then she founded 23andMe. And then Susan, her sister, of course, is currently CEO of YouTube. And quite successful, I might add.
And the third, I think, is a professor or something.
Yeah. They grew up on the Stanford campus, just like Samuel Bankman-Fried. See, you could go one way or the other.
A new blogger, a new Substacker. He is.
I can't believe he's got a Substack. Of course he has a
can.
Substack. Yeah, of course. Of course. Wojcicki's grandfather was a People's Party and Polish People's politician elected a member of parliament during the 1947 Polish legislative election. And her grandmother was a librarian at the Library of Congress, responsible for building the largest collection of Polish material in the United States. Very accomplished family.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
And just for you, here is a picture of the 2020 version of the dress worn by, worn by J-Lo. And that's Donatella Versace she's going down the runway with.
Yeah, if someone handed me something I wore 20 years ago, was like, try to fit, let's do this again, I'd be like, no, thank you.
J-Lo's pretty amazing in that regard, I gotta say.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am at Pruitt, and I am the host of Hands On Photography here on TWiT TV. I know you got yourself a fancy smartphone, you got yourself a fancy camera, but your pictures are still lacking. Can't quite figure out what the heck shutter speed means? Watch my show. I got you covered. Want to know more about just the ISO and exposure triangle in general? Yeah, I got you covered. Or if you got all of that down, you want to get into lighting, making things look better by changing the lights around you. I got you covered on that too. So check us out each and every Thursday here on the network. Go to twit.tv/hop and subscribe today.